Hello and good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning, and we are going to be playing some more Borderlands 4. We're going to beat the game, hopefully, here soon. Talk about all the things that I like, and more than likely, all the things that I don't like, because there's a lot of flaws in this game. I've beat the three main bosses, so now we are working on doing like the last boss. I'm guessing the two ending bosses. You know, maybe potential spoilers saying that, but you know what you're getting into when you watch a stream. So we're gonna play a little bit more Borderlands, beat this game, get ready to go back into Helldivers, and maybe we'll stream. I got a Hello Kitty Island adventure in the mail from Gamefly this week, so maybe we'll play some Hello Kitty as well. You know, gotta experience the Hello Kitty as well, which honestly is better than I thought it would be so far. It's pretty good, and it's not just an Animal Crossing clone. You know, they definitely put some time and effort into making it its own thing. So maybe we'll look at that, but we are jam-packed for games. There's only so much time. You know, we still have to beat Metal Gear. We've got this, and then starting next month, we've got some World of Warcraft events starting, so it never ends.
But there is one that haunts me the most.
These people are just yapping. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Borderlands 2 was my favorite. It's been a while since I played Borderlands 2, but honestly, I don't remember really caring about the story. I don't know if anyone actually cares about the story in a Borderlands game. You know, it's just like, yeah, it's there, but you're here to hunt vaults and get loot, right? Like, do you really care about what all the characters have to say? I don't. Maybe I'm alone in that. You know, tell me if I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like I don't care about the characters. So maybe I'm in the wrong for that one, but I guess we'll see how this all ends out. But what I want to do is hunt the same boss 500 times to try and get legendary loot. You know, that's what I play Borderlands for.
I see it now.
Dex is here. Good morning, Dex. Welcome in. First one in. What are we talking about? I'm talking about that no one cares about the story in Borderlands, that you're here for the loot, you're here to get cool guns and do awesome fights, that you're not here to listen to these characters yap about their problems for hours on end because no one cares. Like, I know when Roland died in the second game, people were upset about that, but that's basically the only thing story-wise I can think of that anyone cares about in Borderlands, you know?
Something else to believe in.
Because, like, this lady has been talking for, like, 5 minutes now, and I just have not been paying attention to what she had to say at all. But all I want her to say is you now have the ability to destroy the end boss. That's the only thing I care about.
Now, to our next steps. The bolts will gain us access to the Timekeeper's Tower, but despite my efforts to bypass the lockdown, Dominion City...
And now she's going to talk for a while longer.
That said, I've spoken with your siren friend in the Terminus range.
You know what else I am super hyped for is Nintendo. The Nintendo Direct, we got some great stuff. There's a lot of cool announcements in the Nintendo Direct. And now I just forgot what I was going to say. There was one game that I wasn't expecting to get an announcement for, and I was really happy to see that announcement. And now I can't think of what that announcement was. So that's great. I was happy to see the video on the new Pokemon Cozy game. I wasn't sold on it at first, but once I actually watched the gameplay trailer, I think I'm sold on it. I think I'm sold on the new Pokopia, whatever that game is. Like, I think that one's going to be a solid game, which will be surprising coming from the Pokemon Company, considering most of their games are far from solid. So, very excited to see what they can do with that one.
You're here. Good. I wanted to...
This place is colder than Jack's dead head. Still haven't fixed the heating pipes, huh?
Well. Look who escaped from the retirement home.
Heard you were around.
And now they're going to exposition at me for another 5 minutes.
Reporting for duty, boss.
And how did you hear that?
Oh, like none of you plant listening devices on your
It's
premises.
cute. Not sure if I'll play it or not. It might be a Gamefly game. Like, it really depends on how much content there actually is in it.
That's a cool new arm.
Clippies, R.I.P. Charlie
can
Kirk.
do
We
one.
definitely pray for the repose of all souls. Definitely pray for all souls to go to heaven, especially those in most need of thy mercy.
Over it. Fly on the wall.
I will say though, and this is going to probably get into unpopular territory, so we'll start with unpopular opinions already. Yesterday when I was in church, they were talking about the events with Charlie Kirk, but also the school shootings that happened right afterwards, and then the Ukrainian woman. I'm not really like sure what happened. That story I didn't hear or follow too much, which was the Ukrainian woman who was stabbed as well, and I believe that she was passed from this world as well from that event, and it frustrated me that they equated all these things as the same when these were very clearly different events with different possible reasonings behind them. And I don't think it's fair to compare all these events as the same, just violence in the world. There's a lot of different motivations and a lot of different things going on in the world, and I think each individual event needs to be addressed as what that event was and why it happened, because I believe all three events probably had different systemic reasons for happening, and I think that we need to look at those reasonings before it continues to happen, and that it is going to continue to happen, unfortunately, because we're not making any strides towards gun control or helping the kids in school shootings or anything like that. It's just, oh, another one happened. Eltaroon, hello, good morning. So I think it's gonna be, there was an Onion headline for a while that was going around that says, this is impossible to solve, says the only nation in the world that suffers from this problem, and that's kind of what it feels like, is that it's just gonna be, yep, we're just going to say, yep, that sucks, and we're going to continue on because that is what we have decided to do about these horrible tragedies as a country, is just say, yep, we don't want that to happen, but it's going to happen. So I guess we're teleporting back over here. Jonathan, good morning. Jonathan, I'm glad you're here. You have been nominated to potentially be a mod, and I wanted to see if you were interested in said responsibility and burden of moddership. By the way, I got this new gun while I was offline, not streaming, and it shoots bees, which I feel like is just like the coolest possible weapon for my stream. Is a weapon that shoots bees is just so thematically perfect for my stream. So we're going to be using this weapon for a while. It shoots a swarm of bees with every bullet that go on and seek out enemies. That sounds horrendous.
Manually release the clamps.
There's the first. Easy pickings for our siren here.
I am also surprised, like, I didn't know really who Charlie Kirk was until all these events happened. But I am surprised how many people are coming out of the woodwork to say that he was a saint, that he was a martyr. Some people have even suggested that he was a prophet, or like the second coming of Jesus Christ himself. And I'm shocked at how deep people loved the guy and put him literally on a pedestal when they're comparing him to Jesus or a prophet from the Bible. Like, I did not realize people were that into his, I don't know, podcast. I don't know, what does he do? Podcasting, I guess, or such. Good morning, Xedit. Jonathan, what would you have to do as a mod? Your only job as a mod is to keep the peace in chat, to kick out the trolls, and to make sure that the general vibes of chat remain vibelicious, I guess is the word I will use. What is the proper term? Dex, what is your role as mod, besides to tell me that I am wrong? That is also a very important role of the mod, is to tell me when I am wrong. people are insane. You know, I don't know. I don't know that insane is exactly the word I would use, but it's weird to see Christians, followers of Christ, suggest that some random guy who went on college campuses and debated people might be the second coming of Jesus. That's a really weird statement, I feel, for any Christian to make. There's definitely some, I don't know if it goes into the realm of idolatry, but I'm going to use the word, there's definitely some idolatry going on with these events. And it's all denominations and all churches, but it's definitely widespread. Don't ever say Bible-licious again. They're nominating their Antichrist. I mean, it seems like in modern times we definitely have a lot of Antichrists to choose from. And that's actually a really fascinating thing to talk about, is a lot of people feel like there is going to be the Antichrist, that there is but one Antichrist. But Catholic tradition, if you look towards the Bible, will point out that there will be many Antichrists. So we have many to choose from and many options. So we don't have to just narrow ourselves down to just one option. We have many options to choose from. So
Fair play there.
let's see here. There you go. You are now moderator. Do. Have fun banning people. There is a lot of people who take this copy pasta from Reddit about how Trump fulfills a lot of the said prophecies for what the Antichrist will represent. So I'm not going to comment on whether or not I agree with that, but I will state that they make a convincing argument, and that the fact that there exists a list of people trying to compile evidence for it tells me that you are leading a life in not a good way, correct? Like, if people are speculating and trying to definitively prove if you meet the criteria for the Antichrist or not, then you have made some poor decisions in your life. I feel like for your average person, that is not a concern that the village people will get together and try and compare your life to the Bible to see if you meet the criteria for Antichrist or not, right? Like, that, you have made some fatal mistakes if that is what people are doing in their free time about your existence. So that is definitely a whole other problem. I feel like I become knighted and became a waffle knight. Soon you will feel the burden, as Dex does. We'll have one other potential mod today as well. Some days it's needed, some days it's not. You know, like right now I think there's like 3 people watching, so, and half of them are mods, so we're over modded. But there are occasions where like YouTube goes wild and throws out like 100 people at a time watching, and when that happens, we definitely need a little bit more muscle and oomph. So for the most part, nothing will change, but on those days, you will be called forward to ban the brigade of 12-year-olds who come in. Ina, hello, good morning. Welcome in. Alright, what are we doing? We're igniting things? Tehran, welcome. Alright, we're going up here and we're pressing a button, I guess. We're going to the moon.
Only the queen may light the sacred flame.
The key bags are on the loose again.
What did he call them? D-bags? I'm not familiar with that, but I'm pretty sure you can't say that. Like, 50% certain. I think I said it before, but in the future, the U.S. will not be studied for its leadership because of its downfall, but studied for why people wanted it.
This group chat.
I can see that. Because like even where we're at now, there are people who are happy with the political climate and where things are going. And I don't think there's been any period of time where I could say that for myself, where I can say like, yeah, I'm happy with the way the politics are going and with everything the way the world is. Like, there's always something that can be improved upon. So that's not even like, that's not a condemnation of our current political. It's just stating that I've never been fully satisfied. There's always more that can be done. So it is strange to me just in general that anyone could look at where we are at any point in the last 30 years and be like, you know what, that's okay. That's right where we should be, right? Like, we should always be moving forward and always trying to better the country and better ourselves. And I just feel like it's such a strange thing to be satisfied with where we are, you know? We have to blast these crystals off these guys. There we go. Turn them into a loot pinata. You know, okay, we're going to talk about, yesterday I went and saw The Long Walk, which was apparently a Stephen King short story before it became a movie. And I will say, I have moved Stephen King off of one list. He is no longer, in my book, a hack. He has moved up to a one-hit wonder because The Long Walk is definitely worth seeing. It was such a good movie. I don't know if it really fits into horror, but The Long Walk, I think, is a must-see movie. And probably the only good thing Stephen King has ever produced. Francis, hello. How strong do you think Doom Guy is? Doom Guy or Doom Slayer? Because apparently now we have to designate which one we're talking about because the lore goes crazy on Doom Slayer, whereas Doom Guy's a little bit more grounded. Both Doom Guy himself is pretty strong, but the Doom Slayer is like Goku infinitely scaling unstoppable force, right? The more demons he slays, the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. I'm pretty sure he has infinite scalability as Doom Slayer. Doom Guy himself, though, you know, I think he's like Space Marine level, like Warhammer Space Marine. Lost in a foreign stream again. I do. If you look at my analytics, I have a large amount of people from like India, the Philippines, Australia, all over the world. So we definitely get a lot of people from all over the world in the stream.
And there. Zadra?
What's the difference between Doom, Plant, and Zombie? I have no idea.
This way, Vault Hunter.
I don't know half of those things, I don't think.
All be worth it if we can reach Lilith.
The way you talk about her, sounds like Lilith can do just about anything.
We also tried watching The Monkey last night, which was another Stephen King
The Firehawk.
creation, and that was awful. If you haven't watched The Monkey yet, save yourself the hour and a half and don't bother watching The Monkey. That was a horrible film. You're the only one from Indonesia? I don't think so. I think we've had a few people from Indonesia. Bubble's here. Good morning, Bubble. My shotgun has a sniper mode. Let's try out sniper mode. What does sniper mode do?
Cracks me up.
You watched The Monkey. We also tried watching the new Nosferatu. Didn't like that one either. I love the Stephen King, but after I read Cell, I wanted to lobotomize myself. Spy, hello. I don't know if The Monkey fits into horror. It's like horror comedy, more outrageous than it is horror. But we saw a ad for another movie that has Keanu Reeves, I think, and Aziz Ansari, and it's about a guardian angel who swaps people's lives. And that actually looks pretty good, but I will say, like, I am tired of modern day actors just being themselves, right? Like, Aziz Ansari only plays Aziz Ansari. The Rock plays The Rock. Jack Black plays Jack Black. Like, I wish there were actors again, and not just, oh, these famous people, and they're gonna play themselves in the same movies over and over and over again. You know, it is a real frustration. What's the difference between honey for wives and honey from bees? I have no idea. I don't know what honey for wives is.
Not so bad, Cyber Tiger.
Jack Black, I think, is probably the most guilty of that, or Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's pretty guilty of the whole, he just plays Kevin Hart in every single movie, you know?
Human. Weak. Trust me, I've had a fair share of me locked up.
But it does look interesting, though I am, since it's dealing with guardian angels, I know at some point, you know, religion's gonna come up, and when we start talking about religion, inevitably, they're gonna say something, offensive. I'm certain of that. No doubt we're gonna get that. The Rock is doing his Save Batista. What is Save Batista? Does English have many meanings depending on the verb? Yes. English and grammar, as people say, it is like 3 languages in a trench coat pretending to be a real language, I think is the best way we've seen English described. Have you ever watched a series called Supernatural before? I loved Supernatural, but only until about season 4. I feel like Supernatural for the first few seasons was really cool about like the monster of the week, hunting monsters, really fun, and then they went off the rail with this like angels and demons sort of thing, and it just kind of lost the plot.
First, carefully place the bolt.
You look like you'd build knives in an old style forge. I wouldn't mind that. I would not mind blacksmithing. What are my PC specs? I am on a 4090 with a i9 14900K. So fairly powerful PC, which is why this game is running as well as it is, because I've heard nothing but complaints about the performance for this game. So if it looks smooth, it's only because my PC is smooth. Although I did stream it to my Asus ROG Ally last night, and that worked decently well, and I've heard you might be able to run it on a Steam Deck, but I really doubt this will run on a Steam Deck. What about GTA 6? Here's the thing. Alright, it's time already. It's time already. Time for the unpopular opinion glasses. Grand Theft Auto is not a good game. Like, most of the Grand Theft Autos, both 3, 4, all of them are just really boring open worlds with not a whole lot in them. And the only reason why they're even popular or talked about nowadays is because of all the people who do like the roleplay mods and things like that make their own content to make it interesting. It's simply not a good game. This is Borderlands 4. This is the new Borderlands. So Grand Theft Auto 6, I have a feeling it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a boring open world with nothing in it, and they're going to sell the game on all the shocking sex content and pretend that it's a better game than it is. I think it's going to be the most overrated game of all time. And you can mark my words on that. Grand Theft Auto 6 will be the most overrated game. I will not take it back. I will stand by my unpopular opinions. Actually, I take that back. The most overrated game of all time, factually, the most overrated game of all time has to be Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, since that's the highest rated game on some like game rating platforms. So that one has to be the most overrated game, because there's no way that Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time deserves to be the best game of all time in any capacity. people are going to buy it going to the game knowing that it offers sex and violence. I don't think it's going to be that good. I really don't. I think people need to prepare themselves for disappointment with it. The Last of Us 2 is more overrated. The Last of Us 2 was pretty awful. No lie. They should have just left it at The Last of Us. Like, if they would have just left The Last of Us with its DLC and touched it no more, it could have gone down as one of the most memorable game stories of all time. And then they had to mess it up by adding on to it with number 2. What am I doing? I feel like I'm doing something wrong here because I'm just kind of wandering around. I am a Legend of Zelda hater. That is true. I think the Legend of Zelda is pretty awful. I guess we have to go down there. Maybe this is gonna be dumb, but let's see. Let's go like this and then. Okay, that didn't work. That didn't work. Well. Okay, how do I get back up there? 'Cause I messed it up. Oh, we were climbing that, I think, right? That's hopefully where we came from. Let's try that again. Taking your morning poop right now. That is why I encourage everyone to have your morning coffee with a big scoop of like Metamucil in it or Mucilax or anything like that. Gut health is very, very important. Pornography is a great sin of our times. It is an addiction that so many people suffer from, and it harms so many people. And it is a absolutely terrible thing that so many people fall into the trap of. It is something that should be condemned, and we should try and work as not just a nation, but as a world to try and abolish.
Tremendous. I'll route Callus's bolt code emulation through Echo 4. Have him hack the console.
E4.
And like there's a whole conversation around people talk about like ethical and ethics of it, and I just don't think there's any ethical way to even create those things, because in the end someone is being exploited somehow, some way, and harmed from it. I woke up and had candy for breakfast because my blood sugar was too low. Then I tripped over my cats because their food bowl wasn't full enough. Okay, candy bar. Speaking of candy bar, I finally found a protein bar that tastes just like a candy bar. The Bear Bells. Bear Bell protein bars are delicious. They taste just like a candy bar with much less sugar and actual, like, some nutritional value. Now, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, so obviously I can't recommend your diet changes. However, if you're craving candy bars, that could be a good way to help cut out some sugar, but indulge in something sweet. As well as, like, if you want something really sweet without sugar, you get yourself sugar-free chocolate pudding with sugar-free whipped cream is an absolutely incredible way to satiate your sweet tooth without having to eat a whole bunch of sugar. So that is the goated combo of all time: sugar-free pudding with sugar-free whipped cream. You can eat like a whole bowl for like 300 calories. I also make it with almond milk, so there's no sugar in like the milk that you would put in there, because milk has too much sugar for my taste. But I think it's insane how much sugar there is in everything. Oh, It's absolutely mind-boggling, especially in America. If you spend any amount of time looking at the added sugar in everything in America, there's sugar in things you wouldn't even imagine. Like, oh, I'm going to buy this ranch dressing, tons of sugar in it. Like, to make it even worse, like, not just the sugar conversation, but if you look at the health nutritional facts of like a McDonald's salad, the amount of fat, sugar, and other things they put in, their salad might be one of the most unhealthy items on their entire menu, because the only way they can get people to eat a salad, apparently, is if they cram it full of so much sugar and garbage that it makes it edible. And that's just bonkers to me, that you're trying to go with a healthier option, and the healthier option is actually worse off for you than just ordering like a burger. You know, that is such a outrageous fact.
What was that?
I told you to be a prayer. Leave it be.
All right, we got our lift here. What are we doing now? Like, let me Google this. Let me get the nutrition from a McDonald's salad here. It's gonna take a second. Why do some people say that McDonald's Wi-Fi is weaker than your home Wi-Fi? Oh, that's without a doubt, because they don't want you to sit there and camp in their area forever and ever, right? They want you to churn over and move out of the way. Okay, it's pulling up. It's taking a second. I'm sorry here. Where are those nutrition facts here? Okay, McDonald's Caesar salad. 730 calories with 53 grams of fat and 1,400 milligrams of sodium. More than a Big Mac. What does your Vex look like? My Vex is orange and has like the Vampire Hunter cut, because it's cool. Although I regret choosing Vex. Like, I knew I should have. I wanted to play as Amon the Techno Viking, and I decided not to, and I regret it. So I'm trying to beat the story so I can start as another character, because I really want to play as Amon and the other character, the soldier. This is my Vex currently, is black and orange with some Vampire Hunter glasses. I hate sodium. It gives you face fat. I too hate sodium, but it's unavoidable also in America. Is the game out now? Yeah, Borderlands 4 came out on Friday morning. No, Thursday for people in the Pacific time zone. So it's been out. Okay, we reached the controls. Are we gonna do something?
No backing down now.
Are we gonna go fight a boss?
I was going to ask if anyone saw any safety harnesses.
I thought it
But
wasn't
yeah,
until
okay,
next year.
let's do
I mean,
this.
by next year the DLC will be out. Which, okay, next thing we have to talk about. People are getting mad that at the Nintendo Direct Nintendo Fest thing that they announced DLC for the Pokemon game before it even came out, and like I don't understand why Nintendo's catching flack for that, considering like I pre-ordered Borderlands 4, the Ultra Edition, that had all the DLC included in it also. Like, it's not like Pokemon is the first company to do that. Tons of companies are trying to sell more DLC early to raise money to do the DLC. Like, I don't understand why they're getting flack for it. Is the A word in this game? Every word is in this game. There is a lot of cursing, and there's also I found a shield. I found a shield that is a dominatrix shield that makes vaguely sexual references at you while you get shot, which was super annoying and super frustrating, and I absolutely hated it. But it was a legendary shield, so it was like the best shield I had found at the time, so I really hated that. That was really gross that they included that in the game. Someone else say her name. I have no idea. I have no idea who you're talking about. Corporate bootlicker. I try not to be a bootlicker. I try and be fair and impartial and balanced. All I'm saying is that Nintendo's getting flack for something that basically every other company has already been doing. So, like, Nintendo does a bunch of bad stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, their whole stuff on the new lawsuit or new patent where they're trying to patent things. Like, they do things wrong all the time. But I don't think this one is one of the wrong things they should be getting flack for. The Pokemon Company has plenty of other things to get flack for, like the fact that their game design is lazy and ugly, and they haven't innovated in 20 years. Like, there's plenty of stuff to hate for the Pokemon Company, but that's not one of them. You're learning English in school? Ava. I don't know who Ava is. Ryan, good morning. The real Ryan Gosling is here. Let's see the fun waffles game. Can I name a single movie that Ryan Gosling is in? Let's see if I can name a movie that Ryan Gosling is in. Jacob, good morning. I didn't really play Borderlands 3 that much. I really hated it, so I have no idea the story from Borderlands 3. Ryan Gosling was in The Notebook. Yes? No? That's my guess. That's the only movie I can think of. It's not DLC, it's just cut content from the game that they're released 3 months later. I mean, there's probably some truth to that. Come on, reload faster. Come on, bees. The bees saved me. All right, we're up and we're going. The Mega Stones will be easier to get, but the paywall stuff will be annoying. Also, not a complaint against Borderlands, but I do feel like there is so much chaos in this game that, like, sometimes I can't figure out what the heck is going on because there are so many, like, explosions and things going all around and all that, like, chaos. In a word, there is so much chaos in this game. For better or for worse. Most of the time, better. It is really fun when there's a lot of chaos in the game. But like I said, I will try and defend Nintendo when they deserve to be defended, but it doesn't make you a corporate bootlicker. Like, I know one of the things I always get called a corporate bootlicker for is one of the most popular things you'll get online is people will tell you that it's always ethical to pirate Nintendo games because, and this is the weird logic, right? They're like, well, I dislike Nintendo, so it's ethical for me to steal from them. Like, no, that's just justifying theft. Like, that just because you don't like the company doesn't make it ethical. The ethical way to deal with Nintendo and you don't like their stuff is to not purchase it, to vote with your wallet and say, I am not going to purchase this product because I don't like the company. That's how you properly boycott and ethically deal with a company that you don't like. Stealing from them is not the proper way to do that. What is the reason why you use guns instead of using a knife? There are actually some characters that use knives. There's a couple melee characters. One of the main characters that you can play as uses a sword. I think you can get like arc knives. He has like the mantis blades that shoot out of your wrists, like from Cyberpunk. So those do exist in the game too. It's just this character happens to prefer not melee. See, it's getting a little choppy here. It might be because I'm streaming at the same time, but this game is so poorly optimized in so many ways. Why are you punching the guy? You're a siren who can summon multiple hands. Like, why not use, like, your phase walking in, summon hands, and all your siren abilities? Why are you fighting him in hand-to-hand combat? Or just use your gun.
Hey, boyo.
Let me guess. They just kicked the guy into space. Somehow he will return.
Speeding up!
Rippers must not believe in brakes.
Hold on!
My job has an annual chart. Good outings. They always do raffles. This year they added a Lego prize pack. Ooh. Is it going to be the Lego Game Boy? I know everyone wants the Lego Game Boy.
Are we alive? Did we make it to Elvis?
Either that, or we died and this is heaven. In which case, I say we rob it.
Charity golf.
Steady there.
Okay.
We're out for a few.
Next unpopular opinion.
Better be up here.
I think as a society,
Conditions are dodgy out there.
I think as a society, it is time that we acknowledge that we should abolish golfing. I'm not saying it's not a sport. I'm not insulting people who golf. I'm saying, is it the best use of our resources when we're dealing with droughts and all the inequality that we're dealing with to have these massive tracts of land that are specifically curated so that rich people can whack a ball around for a few hours a day? Like, I feel like the amount of time, effort, and resources that goes into making golf courses what they are could be better spent elsewhere. You know, you could convert that huge golf course into land for apartments. You can convert it into land for housing. You can convert it into shelters. You could do so much with the amount of land, landscaping, water, and other things that it requires. I think it's time we as a society say it had a good run, but we no longer as a society have a need for golfing. It's the Eiffel Tower and Concord set. That's pretty cool.
I can help with that. No takebacks.
What's the name of the game? This is Borderlands 4.
You just let me know.
I think we need to double check this. Yeah, I made a mistake. That's a better shield. Put my legendary shield back on. Find oxygen.
You hoary junk.
That seems important.
I was running on fumes.
Yeah.
The best Borderlands.
Longer when you're not trying to talk the whole
It's a charity event. At least I get to drink on the clock. If your workplace was smart, they would implement a 2-drink limit. There are a great many of workplaces that have lost good people to not implementing
Should be some lurking around.
a proper limit on drinks.
Use checking the sense. Those creepy bastards don't need to breathe.
Strange. What was the order doing up here?
Dying, looks like.
Why does that thing have so much health? Holy cow.
Those Oz kids, Vault Hunter?
That thing was a sponge. Which I guess Borderlands is also pretty well known for its bullet sponginess, right? There's definitely some bosses, especially in like Borderlands 2, that just became absolute sponges for so many bullets. One of the volunteers literally picks a drink from the tipsy bartender and brings it every year. Is that the same voice actor that voiced Sean McGuire in Red Dead Redemption 2? I have no idea. I am the worst with celebrity names and like actors and all those sort of things, so I will never be the right resource to tell you who an actor is or is not, because I am atrocious at it. I'm from Saudi Arabia. How can I download the game? I do not know. I am not the right person for overcoming region locks or anything of that nature, unfortunately. I am what many people refer to as a Boy Scout. I do things legally and by the law. So like if a game was not legally allowed in my country, like if for some reason our government said, hey, you're no longer allowed to play these games, you can't purchase it here, I would just say, okay, it's against the law, so I will not play that game, and then I will find a different game to play. And that's just how I am, you know. I like to follow the rules. So I know there's some talk about video games being banned in the USA eventually with like Project 2025 and all that sort of thing. And if that comes to pass, then I guess I will just have to find a different hobby. It definitely will be a blow to my streaming career if video games are just outright banned, but we will endure. We will find a way.
I'm also gonna say we should head towards the giant glowy core thing.
I guess we'll do like some photography streams, or maybe I'll finally have some time to paint my miniatures, or well, you know, I like to wash dishes in the morning and do my chores. Maybe we'll just do a chore stream and y'all can help me wash dishes. Why would video games be banned? You know, there's no one reason, but like with all the Charlie Kirk stuff going on right now, you have the age-old violent video games are to blame. The reason why this happened is because video games are violent, and if we ban violent video games, there will be no more violence. So that is one reason they might be banned. And then there's the whole like sexuality and those sort of things. So it's kind of just been the punching bag for certain political parties since forever. But it seems like it's on someone's agenda to try and ban the game. There is our second mod, Ben. Ben, we are going to escalate to a mod as well. We now have Ben and John, our new mods. Everyone welcome them. Yeah, it's always been a political punching bag, but it seems like more than ever we're actually closing in on the ability to potentially ban video games. So there is a possibility for that at some point. And it's just one of those things, you know, as a Catholic, we are called to follow the law. So if it is against the law, I guess I will just go do something else with my time and efforts for a while. But I don't think it'll actually come to pass. I think it's just a talking point to win over certain groups for now. I don't think we'll actually see a full-blown video game ban ever make it into effect. As much as people like to doomsay and dream about it, I just don't see it actually winning. What about Mortal Kombat? It's more like brutal. I mean, that's... So if you know your video game history, you'll know that the whole reason why we have a video game rating system, the ESRB, is because of Mortal Kombat. The original Mortal Kombat had so much blood and violence that we established a government bureau to help regulate those sort of things. But you know, nowadays I feel like Mortal Kombat is pretty tame compared to most video games now. Like, yeah, there's some violence in it, but like there's an adult-only game called Hatred where you play as a incel who decides he wants to die by cops, so your entire goal is to go perform mass shootings in public to draw out the police to destroy your character. So like, as far as like violence and problems go, a little bit of blood in Mortal Kombat is nothing compared to video games like that. And then like there's the game that caused all the controversy where now they're getting bans on, like from Visa and stuff, where there's games that focus on assaulting people in a sexual manner for kicks in video games. So like blood is the least of our concerns when we have games like that. Like on the Steam chart right now, the 10th most played video game on Steam this month is a horrific sex game. So like I don't think the blood and violence is the problem anymore. And I am, how do I say this? Because glad to see is not the right words for it. So pardon me, that's not the right word for it. But if you watched the Charlie Kirk video, I watched it in real time when people were still posting it before it got banned, on seeing him actually get shot. I saw a lot of people who still had a visceral reaction to that level of violence and suffering in the world. So I'm glad to see that all the people saying, oh, video games desensitize. I'm glad to see that people weren't desensitized, that when they saw a man die on live TV in front of them, that they were still disgusted by what they were seeing. So I'm very glad that as far as like the whole desensitization, we're not quite there, that video games haven't taken that fully from people. How do you check on Steam how many players are currently playing a game? If you literally just Google like Steam chart, like Steam chart DB will tell you how many people are currently playing games, and you can see all the different, how many people are logged on, the trends, all that sort of thing. Just a deep dive, Ava is nowhere in the game. Lilith is so pretty. Is Lilith in the game? We've talked about Lilith, but I don't think I've actually seen Lilith in the game either. And then there's still all the horrible people cheering for his death that really make me lose faith in humanity. So here's one of the controversials and really hard topics in Christianity. So I'm going to cover a really controversial topic here. A part of Christianity, and especially Catholicism, is that you pray for all souls to go to heaven, especially those in most need of mercy. If you cannot pray for people that you do not like or that you disagree with to have mercy and be in heaven, you are not a Christian. And I'm going to say the TikTok term because YouTube really does hate it if you say his name, but the certain dictator in World War II, commonly cited as the most horrible person to ever exist, if you cannot pray for the mercy of his soul and have hope that someone like that could have redemption and get into heaven, then you don't believe in Christianity.
Nope. There's a wall in my way.
So, even if you disagree with some of what Charlie Kirk said or some of the things that he did, and I'm one of those people, based on, again, I don't know who he really was, I didn't follow him, but there are some things that he said and did that I disagree with. But that doesn't mean that we don't have hope for him to have mercy and infinite happiness with God.
Pilot lights busted.
And that also includes not praying for his death or pain or suffering or all those other things. And the fact that people were making cookbooks and celebratory wine and those sort of things over it definitely shows us that there is a problem in our country that deeply wants violence and problems and other things. I heard people say they wish blood splattered on his daughters. People definitely showed their worst colors during the last few days. That is absolutely true. Some people really showed, and I know that like a bunch of teachers were complaining that teachers were getting fired for going out and making public comments about how much they disliked him, and it's just one of those things. It's there's a reason we as a society and people for so long have agreed on that you don't speak ill of the dead, right? Like that is a basic tenet of humanity that we have all agreed on. At first I thought this man failed in life, but then I saw the glasses. The glasses are one of my deep regrets. I regret spending money on these glasses, but we have turned it into the Green Goblin mask. Alright, got a Spanish test at 11. Good luck. Don't give up on the Spanish. I took Spanish classes and I was semi-fluent in Spanish. I was really good at Spanish, and then I stopped using it and I lost it, and I deeply regret losing it because being able to being able to speak another language is such an important and critical skill, and I am so sad that I let my ability to speak Spanish go, and I super regret that. I wish I would have kept on it. All right, take it easy. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Thank you for hanging out and chatting. Always appreciate it. It wasn't about the teacher saying how they didn't like him. It was about them cheering for his death, and these people are meant to be around children. It's definitely one of those unfair things of life. But, you know, if you're a teacher, people are going to look up to you, and your opinions are going to hold weight. You know, it's just one of the vast unfairness of life, but that is absolutely one of those positions where you have to be extra careful because children look up to you and parents look at you as a role model and say, I don't want my teacher doing this. And that's like, there was another teacher who was fired for being at a strip club a long time ago, and that debate was raging on of like, well, it was in his personal time. He wasn't a teacher at that moment, right? He was just a normal person going to a legal place where he is legally allowed to go. But I also understand why parents were like, well, I don't want my kids to see their teacher leaving a strip club. Like, what message does that send? Yes, this is Borderlands 4, and I understand it. And again, it's not necessarily fair, it's not necessarily logical, but that's where we're at. Like, as far as I understand, the same thing happened to Pee Wee Herman, right? Pee Wee Herman was arrested in a facility where other people were doing the same thing, but because Pee Wee Herman was seen as like a star for children and someone who was a actor for children and producing children content, he was held to a different standard than the other people around him simply because he interacted with children in that capacity. Again, not fair, not logical, but it is what it is, right? We can't base our actions based on what should be or what is fair. We have to base our actions and life off of what is, and that is what is for him. What are we doing? Where are we going? We're jumping down there. Alright, we're jumping down there. Hopefully this is the right decision. I think it is. Ooh. The guy was made of guns. Who knew? It's bad that your social media can influence your everyday. Like, if you're a teacher, for instance, your Facebook is more of a liability than an asset. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is the weird thing. Like, our parents, if you're a millennial, if you're age, like, 30, like, 28 to 35, you would have spent your childhood growing up and your parents telling you, never use your real name on the internet. No one should know who you are on the internet. You need to be completely anonymous. You should not use your name. You should not use your age. You should not use any of your real information. And that was drilled into our heads as millennials. And then it seems like that advice is just gone now. And now people put their real name, their real address, their real job, their real occupation, everything right out there, and then say the most outrageous things. And, like, I dread that day happening for me, too. Like I said, that's the whole reason I never talk about my job on stream, is because I understand that I work in a place that is anti-Catholic, and if they hear some of my Catholic views, I could lose my job. And is it fair? No. Is it right? No. Is it a violation of freedom of speech? Absolutely. But does that change the facts as they are? No, it doesn't. And I don't want to lose my job, so I try and keep that separate as much as I can, because unfortunately that is the times we live in, where someone hears you say something that they disagree with and their first thought is, let's go make this person lose their job and lose their livelihood because I don't like what they had to say. And I'm not, I know that there's like the whole consequences for actions, and I definitely don't mind consequences for actions, but there is a line, and I feel like we as a society do not know where that line is right now between you've said something that's unacceptable to say, and therefore you lose your job and face consequences for your actions, and you said something that I don't like, therefore I want you to have consequences for your actions. Are two different things. Like, I know, without a doubt, the new Batman comic, the Batman takes on the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan. There is going to be someone at some point who is going to lose their job for being disgusted by that, and then we're going to have this whole conversation again. Are there really anti-Catholic or against religious in the workplace? Yes. Because Catholicism holds opinions such as being pro-life, anti-abortion, and there's a lot of controversial Catholics who speak loudly about the LGBTQ plus in a lot of bad ways, there is generally an anti-Catholic sentiment that if you hold those views, then you are hate-mongering and a bigot. And like, so here's the most common example. The most common example I gave you. In Catholicism, Catholics are not allowed to use preferred pronouns. We consider it a form of lying, which is potentially a mortal sin for us, and so we are not allowed to use preferred pronouns. However, in the workplace, it is very often considered if you don't use someone's preferred pronoun, it is a form of harassment and bigotry. So we have this problem where there is a freedom of speech versus a freedom of what they would call safety. That would never flow in Sweden. You're allowed to believe in whatever you want without the risk of being fired. And that's where someone's going to have to, this is going to have to be a lawsuit. It's going to have to go before the Supreme Court. It is going to be a long fight. And I pray that I am never the person who has to do this fight. If that's my cross to bear, it will be my cross to bear, and I will do it. But I don't want to be the one who has to go through the whole court case of saying that's my religious freedom versus your freedoms. Which freedom is greater in this moment is a very hard conversation. So yeah, it's very much something that I could lose everything over if my workplace wanted to pursue that, and I hope it never comes to that. But I am aware that it potentially could be a problem. Most of the U.S. is at-will employment, so that is misunderstood. Just because a place is at-will employment does not mean they can fire you for any reason. Even if you're an at-will employer, you are not legally allowed to fire someone for a protected reason. For example, minority status is a protected class. So even if you're an at-will employer, you cannot fire someone for being a minority. That is discrimination, and that is against the law. They cannot do that. However, because you're an at-will employer, all you have to say is, I am firing you because we no longer want you. And then that is legal. Now, could you go to court and prove they're firing me because I'm a minority? Well, that's up to the courts to decide, and it becomes a whole legal battle. And unfortunately, most people cannot afford to go through that legal fight, right? You have to hire a lawyer. It's going to be years, and it's just not possible for them to win that, especially against the big legal teams of huge companies. So is it illegal? Potentially. Are they ever going to be held accountable for it? We don't know. Why do we have to play along with their little fairy tale land? Sorry, I'm not calling you a they, them. So it's a very, very complicated topic, and I don't want to call it a fairy tale because I don't want it to turn into like a name-calling and insulting thing. Again, as Catholics, we don't believe in calling someone by their pronoun. We do consider it a form of lying, but I do understand that it is a more nuanced topic, and saying that, well, I'm not going to indulge in your fairy tales doesn't necessarily help the conversation be moved forward in any meaningful way, right? So it's important that when we use words, we understand our words have meaning, and that is the whole basis for why we don't use the preferred pronouns, because we understand that words have meaning. So it's important that we also hold ourselves accountable to our words have meaning, and we want to have a right and good conversation. He deserves more likes, 73 viewers and 15 likes. I appreciate that. Sunglasses inside is wild. I definitely agree the sunglasses inside is wild, but that's not a Catholic stance. That's a you stance. Jesus disapproves. It is a Catholic stance. You can check on Catholic Answers. Where did I go to college? I went to college at a place called WGU, Western Governors University. It is a online college. My degree is not prestigious. It is not a prestigious degree in any way, shape, or form. However, in America, most of the time you don't need a prestigious degree. You simply need the piece of paper that states that you went to college. It doesn't matter where you went to college, doesn't matter how you went to college, it doesn't matter what your grades were. All that matters is, do you have the piece of paper that states that you went to college? And if you have that, then good enough. Like I earned my bachelor's degree in 6 months. It's basically the equivalent of getting a bachelor's degree off the back of a box, like a cereal box. Like if I went and got a box of Fruit Loops that had an official degree from the University of Tastiness, that's about as worthwhile as my degree is. But I don't have to tell people that I got my bachelor's degree in 6 months. All I have to do is show that I have a official diploma from an accredited university that says I completed the required credits to get my degree. And that is it. Jesus repeated over and over, you should show compassion to everyone, which is why I'm saying that it's a nuanced topic and a harder topic to have, but we also have to understand that compassion can mean different things. What is compassionate to some people is subjective, and what is compassionate to other people is objective. And this is why when we talk about like morals and standards, that we have to have an objective view based on the morality that God has given us, not a subjective morality based on the rules and law of man. So there is an objectivity versus subjectivity in this conversation. A degree is a degree. That is what's the saying? What's the saying that goes? What do you call a doctor who got straight C's? Doctor. Like, yeah, I would much prefer to have a doctor that got straight A's in college, definitely, but a college with, or a doctor with straight A's and a doctor with straight C's are both doctors, right? So C's get degrees is absolutely a truth. As for the trades, I don't know if I give that advice anymore. I know for a long time everyone said go into the trades. Here's the thing. The trades are not as glamorous as everyone says. The trades are good. The trades are necessary. I definitely believe we need people to do HVAC. We need people to be electricians. We need people to be plumbers. 100%. Not looking down on the job at all. We need it. However, trades are incredibly hard on your body. It is not as easy as people make out to be of, oh, you just go to school and be a tradesman and make $100 an hour. Like, you are trading your physical body for that paycheck. The trades will in many ways destroy your body with the hard work and hard labor that it requires. So it's a trade-off like anything else. Like, you get a cushy office job where you just use Microsoft Excel all day and get paid $100,000, or you go become an electrician and get paid $100,000. Both are trades-offs with their positives and negatives. So this is why Catholics largely dislike American Catholics. There definitely is some divides. There's the rad trads that don't like other Catholics. There's American Catholics that don't necessarily fit in with the rest of Catholics. There is a lot of division, unfortunately, when Catholic is supposed to be universal. We're all supposed to be one same universal church, and yet there is a lot of division among Catholics who can't agree on different things. But, like, just because most Catholics believe it or talk about it doesn't necessarily mean it's true, right? Like, the last time they did Pew Research, there was like 60 or 70% of Catholics don't believe in the true presence of Jesus Christ in the Eucharist, which is a core belief of Catholicism. So just because most Catholics believe it or say it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true either, right? Like, a ton of Catholics don't know their own faith. A lot of Catholics don't understand Catholicism at its core, which is again why we're having all these conversations, because so many people don't understand Christianity at its core of what Christianity is. Working out mitigates that a lot, but yeah, trades are hard on the body. Yeah, there is no small shortage of
men who are in their 30s who have broken their bodies in construction or trades. They made great money, worked a great amount of overtime, but they traded their youth and their body for that pay, without a doubt. Drywall hangers hanging drywall all day? Man. KV, welcome in. But there's also, like, we're talking about lying, right? If we go back to the Catholics don't even agree on what lying is. There is a beautiful debate, and I encourage everyone to watch it at some point. It is on Pints with Aquinas, is the podcast who hosted it, who said, in what situations is it okay to lie? So they got a priest, a father, and a monk who had disagreeing opinions to discuss the topic. How much do you lift, brother? I am disabled because I had a massive hernia. To put it in perspective, if you take a large orange or even a cantaloupe and put it in your pants, that's how large my hernia was. This much of my guts, literally a cantaloupe size amount of my guts, fell out of my body and ripped a hole through my body. So I am never allowed to lift more than 10 pounds at risk of ripping my guts out of my body again. So I am permanently disabled in that way, so I do not lift. Instead, I walk and swim. I still try and exercise, but I can never lift. I will never be a gym bro in that way. Anyways, back to the topic of lying. So this was the topic. Is it okay to lie to save a life? Some Catholics say yes, other Catholics say no. So they put the context of, say you are in Germany and you are hiding certain people from the Gestapo. And they come to your house and say, we need to search your house because we believe that you are hiding people you are not supposed to hide. In that moment, are you as a Catholic allowed to lie and say, no, we don't have anyone here, knowing that if they believe you, you have saved their life? Some Catholics will say, no, you are not allowed to lie. Even in that scenario, lying is a sin that you can choose not to answer. You can say, do what you will, I'm not going to cooperate, but you cannot lie. Other Catholics believe that there is what we call a right to information, that in that moment, those people do not have a right to that information because they are trying to cause harm. And because they do not have a right to that information, it is not a lie to conceal that information from them. In the same way as we talked about previously, like if you're a spy, your job requires you to lie, but is it a lie if those people that you are hiding that information from don't have a right to that information? And there's no small amount of debate on which one of those is the correct answer. If you want my opinion, and this is an opinion, because again, people are on different wavelengths on this, I am of the camp that if you do not have a right to the information, then it is not a lie. For example, I've worked as a manager before. In my job as a manager, I had privileged information that my regular team was not allowed to know. So if someone came up to me who was on my team and said, hey, do you know if so-and-so is currently being punished for this HR thing? The answer is yes, I do know that, but I'm not allowed to share that information because they do not have a right to that information because that is privileged information. So would it be a lie to say, no, I don't know, or to say, no, that information is not currently known to me? And that again, no small debate on it, but I do believe that there is some nuance in the conversation of not having access or a right to the information. Everyone lies on occasion. The point is to hold yourself to a high enough standard that you always try to set. Yes. That is, when we talk about sin in general, everyone sins. That is 100%. We all fall short. We all fail. But we try to hold ourselves to that standard. And that's where when we say we want to be Christ-like, a part of that is expecting a perfection that is not humanly possible. It simply is not humanly possible to be perfect, but we still strive for it.
Sweet. We have power.
I always try my best not to lie. That is a good way to live life. I definitely agree with that sentiment. I understand that it is difficult in a lot of situations. There is a lot of nuance around those sort of things. So I understand that life's not always cut and dry, easy answers, right? Being Christ-like also involves not judging others and being a hypocrite. So when God tells us not to judge, it is important to remember that do not judge is not to tell people not to do things. This is Borderlands 4. Specifically, when God said do not judge, it is specifically to mean you are not to condemn people to hell. It is not our place to say yes or no, this person is going to be judged as going to heaven or hell. But it is our job as fellow Christians to tell someone when their actions are sinful and can cause a separation from God. That is not judgment, that is a fact. So when we say don't judge, it's not condemning people to hell, but it is our place to tell people when actions are sinful or wrong and how to correct those things. However, it also is important we use the biblical advice of take the log out of our own eye before the twig out of our brother's eyes, right? What about when God said you can own slaves? It is important to note in that conversation that is a very large conversation that I couldn't possibly do justice to on stream. But it is important to remember that biblical slavery is a different system than the slavery that we know in modern times, and there is literally 2,000 years of tradition and understanding of the Bible and the history and the times that it was written in to fully understand and comprehend those passages of the Bible, which is why I'm saying that I can't possibly do it justice in a stream while playing Borderlands to explain to you ancient civilization and systems and all these other things, because there's simply so much to that conversation that needs to be had to have an actual respectful and good conversation in that realm. What about when God advocated for genocide in the Old Testament? The one thing about God is if we acknowledge the existence of God and if we believe what we truly believe, then God has that right? If God is the creator of all, then God has the right to take away life. So if God calls for a genocide, then that is God's ability to do as the creator of all and someone who has beyond infinite knowledge of how the world, the universe, how all the things that go into all of existence interact with each other. Who am I to say I know better than God? God doesn't have to follow his own rules. That is absolutely true. God is God, and God has the ability to do absolutely anything. I'm pretty sure I took this boss out, so... Oh, I did. That's
All you killed of me was flesh and
That's actually kind of horrifying design. They did a good job on that. Look at that.
left is divine.
That is some A+ creepy character design.
That's thick and callous back from the bleeding dead.
I like that. Most people twist around that. There are conversations. There are conversations that are really hard to have and that require a lot of nuance and a lot of understanding. And if there's something I don't understand, I'm not going to have the conversation. That's why when I talk about, like, people always ask about the Crusades. In order to fully talk about, like, the Crusades, the impact, the legalities, the Christianity, you would need to have a PhD in that historical time period and probably a PhD in theology. I have neither of those. So rather than trying to educate people on such a complex and huge topic, I simply choose to abstain from the topic of the Crusades because I simply don't have the tool set to properly educate on it. The tool set exists, and I always encourage you, if you're curious about the Crusades, since I just brought it up, if you go Catholic Answers, just Google Catholic Answers Crusades, you can find those experts who have written books and talk about it way more in depth than I ever could. And I think it's a good quality of any person to be able to have to come forward and say, I don't know enough about this topic to be able to properly do it. So I am not going to. I think it takes a very smart individual to be able to say, I don't know enough about this topic to actually talk on it, so I am not going to engage in it. I think the world would be a much better place if we could all acknowledge those faults in ourselves. And I get it. It's embarrassing to say we don't know enough about it, right? Like a lot right now, there's a lot of people who want to talk about the Middle East. The Middle East is a very complex topic with a lot of things, and I simply don't have the understanding and knowledge to be able to make an educated discussion around the topic. So I'm not going to talk about it because I simply don't know enough to have an educated opinion. Mozzarella's here. Hello, Mozzarella. Welcome. I had the wrong gun. Get the right gun out here. Here we go. They only taught the Christian side is bad. I mean, that's all of our schools, at least in America, are guilty to some degree of bias, right? All the history you learn in a government classroom is going to be at some point some form of propaganda, or at least it's going to have some level of biases in it, because that's simply unavoidable. History is written by the victors, so even if you have an impartial writer trying to make a curriculum, at some level there's going to be some level of human biases in that. And I think our United States curriculum definitely has a lot of biases in it. Like, one of the things you'll hear a lot of, and maybe this is not a topic that I am super educated on, but this is my understanding of it. Like, if you look at the civil rights stuff that we have in our classrooms, a lot of it tries to show black and white grainy photos to give you this bias and understanding that this civil rights stuff happened so long ago. You know, it's the past, it's ancient. This is black and white photos because technology was barely invented at the time. And, like, a lot of those civil rights movement photos aren't in black and white. That is a way to help manipulate the way people see this, because when they say, oh, it's black and white, that's old-timey, that's old stuff. That doesn't exist anymore, when civil rights movements are still ongoing to this day, right? So that's like one of those small little bias things that they can do to manipulate the way people feel about and understand what they're reading. History involves people looking critically at history of your own people. They largely don't teach anything about the history of other people's. I mean, that's doubly true for America, right? We're very America-centric here. We talked about this before, but, like, what we learn about China in our history books is ancient Chinese dynasties from thousands of years ago. They invented gunpowder, and then now they have mass production. That is all I learned in high school about China, was ancient dynasties that are no longer applicable, and now they have lots of factories and manufacturing. And that is it for Chinese history I learned. Japanese history, you learn a little bit about the samurais, and that's it.
Oh, it does. We just have to build it.
Amara, you sure you got the juice for this? Cracking into the phase is no joke, and your arm ain't even healed.
A siren's power does not come from an arm or a tattoo.
Fun fact about Japan and religion, though.
Taught me that?
There is a religion in Japan, and I believe parts of China, that believes that Jesus did not die on the cross, but rather Jesus' Japanese brother. I can't remember his name. I think it's Shu, but I think that's wrong. They say that Jesus' Japanese brother took his place on the cross, and then Jesus was allowed to then go to Japan and live out the rest of his life.
This is all you.
Jonathan's on Helldivers spreading democracy. Never apologize for being on Helldivers. My world history class in high school was pretty good. We had a section on the movie Hotel Rwanda and the conflict there. That is a whole other...
Lilith, where are
The
you? Coming to get
the
you.
Rwanda, the genocide, all that sort of stuff is another topic that I never feel like I'll ever be educated enough to fully discuss on the level that it needs to have a proper discussion around
Nothing.
that ordeal.
Nothing. True all at once. Time layered upon time. Starting dead and then
I have no idea where I'm at. If anyone's been paying attention to the story, can you tell me what's going on? Because I have no idea what's going on.
punch right in the shit-eating grin. I'm not making sense, but it's getting clearer. It's happening now.
Hello.
You're so close.
Okay, good morning.
The effects of what you're about to do are rippling forward and back, washing away.
I thought
every
Borderlands was like
there's only
Fallout.
one.
I mean, it's got some of the like
Infinite
the
states of
gritty punk aesthetic to it, but I guess people would tell you that Fallout is more atom punk, which is set specifically like what if the 1950s and our technology was based off of like the futuristic stuff of the future of the 1950s, whereas Borderlands would just be more just like apocalyptic, maybe in the steampunk genre with gears. So, you know, the different punks, there's atom punk, there's steampunk, there's solar punk, there's laser punk, there's all sorts of different subgenre of punk.
Shock nearly killed me. Elvis came through. And I didn't.
Personally, I'm a big fan of diesel punk, which is more like World War II heavy machinery with pollution, gas masks, blimps. Diesel punk is more my favorite of the punk genre, but I know most people know steampunk, which is of course steam, blimp, gears, that sort of thing, but diesel punk is more my jam. Vin Diesel punk. Alright, is this the final boss? Are we fighting the final boss? Like... Nuclear punk? I don't think I've heard of nuke punk. What decade is that based on? Is that Lilith? The Firehawk. Rip fire wings from our Pokemon runs. Borderlands is more inspired by Mad Max, while Fallout is a showcase of the retrofuturism in a post-apocalypse. Yeah, I would definitely say Borderlands definitely has more of the Mad Max with the psychos, with the masks and that sort of thing.
And blood. The vision was a lie.
Didn't know the Phoenix Force existed in Borderlands.
She was always flesh and blood.
I thought we were going to have a boss fight, but apparently not.
There never was. Not for me. Not for anyone.
Is she going to crash the moon into the planet? Are we going full Ocarina of Time? She's going to crash the moon into the planet? Someday I need to play Ocarina of Time. I've never made it past, like, the second dungeon. Like, when I try and play it, usually I can make it to about, like, the Goron dungeon, and that's about as far as I've ever gotten, because it's so ugly and boring, and the puzzles are so basic. But someday I will finish playing Ocarina of Time. The music's good, though. Alright, well, I guess we're doing a boss fight here. Ooh. Okay, I can't go into I thought I could go into that shield, but apparently I can't, so it's just blocking me. Bashes the game but never finished it. If it was a fun game, I would finish it. The problem is it's not a fun game. Why would I finish playing a game that's not fun, you know?
I have reached my full potential.
Wake up, Firehawk!
Okay, we just broke her shield. Alright, onto her health pool. Nuke Punk is based on the second decade of the Rosary, Sorrowful Mystery. Speaking of the Rosary, we have finished half of our Rosary debt, or our Hail Mary debt. We owed 1,300 Hail Marys, and we have done just about half of that with everyone's forces and work combined. So, good job, everyone, on that. We are halfway through our debt that we accrued from the Carlo Acutis stream. So, good job. Okay, what is going on here? What are we doing wrong? Why can we not hurt? Why is she invulnerable? We need to destroy this? I don't... Is that working? Oh, I'm dead. I'm no longer dead. Glad I ended up finding this waffle. Pretty much every other live I saw was either Claire ranting about not reading comments, boring yapping, or a crazy take on Charlie. Very chill here. I work very hard to keep it a chill environment. I definitely strive for a chill environment here. That is a goal. Dex hates when I use the word vibelicious, but that's what we strive for, is the good vibes. This boss fight's pretty tough. I actually have come close to being destroyed a few times here. This is a fairly tough boss fight. I think we're gonna win, but... Oh, it's gonna be close. Alright, give me the loot. Let's see some legendaries. That was kind of boring loot. Let's see here. We got a slightly better shield, but my shield's legendary, so meh. We got... Ooh. A shotgun that shoots acid, cryo, 456 times 2. That's pretty good. I don't know. We'll grab it. I've always made a point to myself that if I buy a game, regardless if I don't like it, I'll give it 200% to finish it. That is why I do not buy games as much these days, is because I find myself not liking so many games, which is why I usually use GameFly to rent games, because I don't wanna waste money on a game that I'm not going to enjoy, you know? Alright, treasure chest, give me something legendary. Ew, green. Got some boring loot there, some real boring loot.
Come on, Red! Come back to us! Could really use the Firehawk right now!
You saved me. Yeah.
Alright, give me another boss fight. I want some legendary loot. Yeah, we're going to crash into the planet, but Lilith is going to save us all. Thank goodness for the MacGuffin. Thank goodness that she's so powerful she can stop the moon.
Last death.
I finally bought KH the story so far. KH like Kingdom Hearts or yeah, that's gotta be Kingdom Hearts, right? I am not Adam. Someday I will play Kingdom Hearts. It is on the list. I have wanted to play Kingdom Hearts for a while. Gaster, hello.
Good to have you back.
I am sad I missed out on Kingdom Hearts because I've heard that it's a great game, but like it came out when I was a edgy teenager who was like, no, Disney's dumb and for babies, so I never played Kingdom Hearts, but I've heard that it's a really good game. So someday I will play Kingdom Hearts.
Hells, the ride down.
It is on the list.
And we didn't even get beverage service. How you feeling, Red?
Buck,
Worn out.
good morning.
But okay. Vault Hunter, let's talk.
Do we really have to talk?
Still pretty fuzzy, but
Have you played the game Valiant Hearts: The Great War? I have never played Valiant Hearts, no.
All it took was a psycho engineer.
I did just try Hell Lets Loose after seeing the new Hell Lets Loose Vietnam. I was excited to play Hell Lets Loose, so I rented the first one and quickly realized that Hell Lets Loose is not the right game for me, so I will not be playing the second one. That is too much of a military simulator for my tastes.
Timekeeper, the gold-faced prick, hides away in a sealed tower, lording over his vault.
sounds like a real asshole. Let's get a move.
Easy, Red.
All right, let's sell some garbage.
They don't let me cut on folks no more. But what they...
Lilith, ain't you a sight for sore eyes? Sore doesn't begin to cover.
Ooh, Siren Class mod.
Spent 1,000 years in the universe.
13% fire rate, 20% status effect damage.
My sight for another 1,000.
Let's. I don't know if I'm going to use that, but let's buy that. Could be good. Helldivers makes me feel patriotic. They actually requested to do like a talk at the United Nations on Helldivers and propaganda. So like they definitely have done something special with that.
If you want to reach the timekeeper, strike now. Go to the breach in the city walls before the order can patch it.
Vault Hunter, we'll stay with
All right, we are on to the final boss finally. However, we have run out of time. It is time for me to get up and start doing my chores and start my day, unfortunately. So we have run out of time to beat the final boss at this point. But we will be playing again on Wednesday for all you new folks. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 5 a.m. Pacific time to about 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. So this is it for me. So as always, we will end with our prayer. Let me take off my bad opinion glasses and put on the regular glasses. And I'm going to exit out of the game so you don't hear Borderlands talking in the background while we're trying to pray. Here we go. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord, thank you for this blessed day, and thank you for all that you do for us. Today we continue to pray for all the victims of violence, all the victims of war, all the victims of political violence, all the victims of school shootings, everyone who is suffering from violence. Lord, be with them and their families. We pray for those who don't have enough, those who don't have enough food, don't have enough water, don't have enough shelter. Whatever they lack, Lord, help to provide for them, and help us, their brothers and sisters in Christ, to provide for them as well. We pray for people discerning their vocations, whether it be marriage, whether it be the priesthood, whether it be monastic life. Lord, help people to find their vocations and find a fulfilling life that will be pleasing to you. And finally, we pray for all the souls in purgatory, all the souls who have been forgotten, all the souls who have no one left to pray for them. Lord, help them. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, as I said, I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so no stream tomorrow. I'm going to try and put out a long-form video, so if you need more waffles, I should have a regular video up then. Until then, everyone have a blessed day. Thank you as always for hanging out with me. It's always a pleasure to entertain and have good conversations in the morning. Have a blessed rest of the day, and I will see you all on Wednesday.